Disney is now officially a lost cause, and it is so stunning that I'm almost at a loss for words. Anyway, here we go. Mark Parker is a sign of the apocalypse for Disney. There's no going back at this point, and it's full-on agenda until the day the company is sold to somebody else or picked apart by the vultures or whatever's going to happen in the future. And that, of course, is going to sound incredibly hyperbolic, which I'm not prone to do very often unless I'm trying to make a point by utilizing the extremes. I mean, it could be what I'm thinking it's going to be, which is a disaster. But placing the slave-using CEO as chairman of Disney certainly sends the we're family-friendly message, right? I mean, everyone there is now aligned with the message TM, and there's no escaping from the woke Neo-Marxism and the product that comes out of Disney anymore. That's pretty much all there is. From the not-so-secret gay agenda to the flat-out promotion of family hatred and hatred for, well, a deity, God specifically, and, of course, hate for the country that, well, they were founded in and have been operating in for 100 years. There's also little chance that you'll see just how deeply Disney was involved in a certain crypto company's currency. Of course, the bench ruling of Judge John T. Dorsey helped them quite a bit there, as he sealed the names of the certain crypto companies' customers, at least for the next 3 months. But that's a lot of time. That's enough time. I mean, for things to be dealt with. I mean, it's not suspicious at all, though. I mean, really. I mean, that covers at least one questionable quarter or two, at least for the corporations that are compromised and involved in this particular fiasco. Now, seriously, there's no cover-up, nothing to see here. Totally legitimate practices going on there. But returning to the new chairman, of course, at Disney. This is merely an Iger proxy at this point, for lack of a better term. And keep in mind that proxy word is going to come up in a different context later. This person's in place to put a rubber stamp on all of the weatherman's wildest dreams, and also rubber stamp the next choice for CEO after his previous selection worked out so wonderfully for his friends and his reputation. And of course, I had to laugh out loud for several reasons at this news when I found out about it yesterday. One, they booted a woman, and of course a woman who was the Chicago LGBTQ voted Hall of Famer. I'm referring to Susan Arnold. Yeah, she's out as chairwoman and was replaced with a cis white male with 3 kids. They also went super tone deaf on the exit statement. And you can read that for yourself, because I have no interest in reading what Iger said in that quote, other than to just share with you that, of course, they used gendered language when it comes to Miss Arnold. A little bit of woke on woke crime there, right? And of course, none of these actions are going to blunt the reaction of a potential sea of red ink on the ledger in the coming quarters at Disney. DTC, direct to consumer, is still at best a loss leader for them at this point. The streaming thing is just not panning out in a way that's profitable. I mean, that's the best case scenario, and at worst, well, it's just a long-term financial disaster that a lot of these studios are going to have to figure out how to crawl out from under. And outside of the theme park performance that will probably be, once again, pretty good, and of course the recent saving grace of Avatar 2's performance at the box office, I mean, what else is the company really going to be able to point to when we get around to the shareholder meeting? See, there's been a lot of bad news from 2022, because in an early Axios Harris poll, Disney fell 28 spots to number 65 on the most visible brands in America. Of course, that's a bunch of buzzwords that really just mean, the most appreciated brands. in the marketplace. And of course, the worst news than even that slip of 28 spots is that Disney has divided America as far as trust is concerned. And I know we've talked about it here before on this channel, but it's all along political lines. And when did a family company like that, who's supposed to have broad appeal, ever succeed by going political? For the record, 77% of Democrats trust Disney in one way or another, and 70% of Republicans don't. Worse yet, 42% of independents don't. That's a lot of lost audience. And by the way, in that poll, overall, across the board of the top 100, the wokest companies fell many, many spots. 28% of likely voters are less likely to do business with Disney, at least according to an April Trafalgar poll. And let's face it, those engaged in voting are usually the ones that have some means. That means that they can actually afford your product, pay for a vacation, buy your streaming service, etc., etc. Of course, the next poll is going to be even worse. I mean, we already know that. This is a downward trend, and with their actions, I don't see anything changing. You're going to see more low information people get more information, and it's going to, keep casting Disney in a bad light. I mean, just look at the animated box office receipts for the year, and the fourth straight loser in the animation department for Disney. And here's some additional bad news, and take this for what it's worth. The super activist investor Nelson Peltz and his investor group Trian is about to go full proxy war fight with Disney. That's bad. You see, Nelson wanted to be the next chairman. He wanted to get a position on the board. He wants to, weigh in at the company. He's got some interesting politics. You should probably look into him. But right now, they own about 0.9% of Disney, I think, something like that, or about $900 million worth anyway. So he's going to take this full proxy fight. I don't know what's going to happen with that. You need to be very careful when you do business with somebody like that. You're always going to be under fire. So Peltz personally is no slouch when it comes to doing battle in the boardroom, and of course he's great on the trading floor. He does very well. He's been on a lot of boards, many. I think the only thing he lost was a battle with DuPont. I mean, he wins a lot. And refusing his bid to add himself or an appointee to the board, that could prove quite costly to Iger. Imagine if somebody like that wanted to start shorting your company. What remains to be seen overall, however, is how shareholders are going to react at the annual meeting. Will they react to Iger's recent activities or Disney's overall? How is Iger going to respond to some honest hardball questions? Or will he have to? Well, they filter those out as they normally do. Don't think they're going to be able to get away from what Nelson wants to ask, though. And there clearly are a ton of questions to be asked at this point, such as why are we now offering steep discounts at our Florida theme parks? And why are food carts being offered now up to $750? There has to be some foresight into those decisions. And they even removed the price of parking at resorts. A lot of us have called them out on that for a long period of time because of the high premium they charge at those resorts, amongst other things. See, I can't actually wait to hear the auditory gymnastics that Iger will have to perform to explain away like the next 2 quarters. It's going to be interesting. We're in for a real treat. Linguistic skill will be required. Let's just put it that way. Are you excited for the new unpaid labor advocate that's taking over the board at Disney? That's an interesting question. Are you thrilled by the prospect that the company could be facing challenges on a multitude of fronts? Imagine if they get exposed for being involved with a crypto company or something else unsafe. How about being stripped of your Reedy Creek district? I think those are all good questions. Feel free to give me your thoughts on those down below and anything else you'd like to add. I think it'll be worth the conversation, and hopefully we can engage in a good one. And with that, I'm going to encourage you to support other independent creators. See, a lot of us cover a lot of things in a lot of different ways. You're going to get some very reaction-oriented channels. You're going to get some quality reviews from films and products, and many, many more things. Things that you can probably take to the bank from actual creators who, well, spend time with them and spend time on them. So if you want to help them out, just like you help me out, be sure you're subscribed to their channels. Make sure you turn on the bell notification and turn all of those notifications on so you don't miss anything. Of course, adding a like is always appreciated on each video, but it's even more important, after you add the like, to make a comment. And it doesn't have to be anything in particularly special. You can say, hi. It just increases engagement, which drives the algorithm, which helps channels grow. And after all, we want to see more and more people here in our channel. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And I want to say, for the record, thank you all so very much for watching the video. And until next time, bye. And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/CultureCasino.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.